Toontown Corporate Clash is the latest popular Toontown private server to come out of the depths of hell and actually rivaled Toontown Rewritten. The game has been in a public beta state for the past few weeks, and it's had thousands of people playing. The popularity comes from its differences in comparison to the traditional grind that was in Toontown Online. There's a new quest system, new gag type, new cog type, new playgrounds, a leveling system, and so much more. I'll go into depth with all these things and give my thoughts on everything this game has offered so far in this video. Now, this isn't a review video on Toontown Corporate Clash. It wouldn't make sense to review a game I haven't finished. So, this is more along the lines of a first impressions video. I've only gotten through the majority of Toontown Central, but have played hours of this with a friend who has progressed much farther into the game. I'll discuss what's different in this game compared to traditional Toontown and give my thoughts on them, and keep in mind that this isn't a review. It's a first impressions video, and that my opinions are my own. But of course I will do my best to give good reasoning for my opinions. Alright, here we go. After playing for quite a few hours, I can say that Corporate Clash is fun, but to an extent. I've always found playing through traditional Toontown, like Rewritten, fun, despite there being an insane grind and repetitive quests. Going through Corporate Clash's questing system and seeing everything that's new and different has been a lot of fun, but I quickly lost interest. The grind and repetitiveness from traditional Toontown is worse in Corporate Clash. The grind for gags and getting through the game seem to increase, which isn't a totally bad thing. I just can't see myself replaying this and going through another grind. And that leads us into quests. I don't like the new quest system. In traditional Toontown, you choose a task to get some type of reward that either continues your progress towards another type of gag, or it gives you some other beneficial push in progression. You could usually choose what task you want to do to reduce the grind and make getting the reward easier. However, with Corporate Clash, you are on a strict linear main quest line, and it feels like I'm doing a task that never seems to end. You can pick up side quests from certain NPCs in each location, but they feel pointless other than getting some XP for leveling your toon. Toontown itself was already pretty linear, but Corporate Clash was able to make the questing system even more linear, and therefore a lot more boring. I liked being able to choose what I wanted to do next in my grind in an area, but now my ability to customize my adventure is gone. Maybe in future locations you can choose how you want to progress, but in Toontown Central you are on a very strict path, making it seem more grindy and yes, more repetitive. Before we move on to the next section, I should state that I haven't paid attention to the story at all. When it comes to MMORPGs, I don't usually care much about the story, but I've heard that the Corporate Clash story is pretty good compared to the lack of overall story that you see in traditional Toontown. Now then, let's talk about the leveling system, since I did bring it up just recently. It's pretty nice, and I'd say I like it a lot if the questing system wasn't as strict as it was. I'd like to level up by doing quests of my choice, but I guess it works with how they have it set up. The way you get points to improve your gag tracks or get new ones is actually really cool. It definitely makes your character different from others as you level up, because you can have a few tracks that have buffs or have a larger selection of gags with fewer buffs. You don't get a lot of points as you level up, so it's easy to mess up your distribution, but luckily nothing is really permanent, so it's a system I can definitely get behind. What I can't get behind is this new zap gag. Sure, it's neat, but I don't like it. With the addition of a new gag track and this new system for your gags, I feel like things can easily get unbalanced, broken, and overall confusing. The zap gag does a lot of damage to a cog, and does a lot more if squirt is used prior. One of the buffs you can get with your points from leveling is to zap multiple enemies with the use of squirt. So the apparent meta for starting the game is to select squirt and zap to easily annihilate the starter level enemies and put points toward them. Like I said, it's neat, but I can't get behind it. Maybe it'll grow on me as I progress and actually get squirt and zap. Now I feel like it's a proper time to talk about the design of the game. I like the new models, textures, and redesigns of menus, but I strongly dislike the music. For some reason, whenever a new server is getting worked on, the staff feel like it's absolutely necessary to redo the entire soundtrack. While that in itself isn't a problem, the issue is with recreating every track to sound similar to their original, but still be different. It's like listening to an off-brand version of the soundtrack, and it's really annoying. The new tracks for new areas are nice, but the majority of the soundtrack is terrible. I quickly loaded my resource pack from TTR just so I can listen to Persona 5 music while playing. I really can't stand the Corporate Clash tracks. I also can't stand these new animations, especially the ones that are from the use of Zap. They look really terrible. But the animation when a cog gets its head destroyed by a drop gag is badass. I absolutely love seeing that animation. As I said in the beginning of this video, there's also a new type of cog. Board bots. Their designs are neat, and yeah, I like them, but I don't think they fit in with the other types. I know we're all used to the 4 types of cogs that have been around since the very beginning of Toontown, but whenever a server sticks in a new type of cog, it just doesn't seem to fit. Maybe I'll get used to them being in the game, and I hope I do, since they do have nice designs. I wish there were more similarities to the other 4 types, but I'd say these are fine. Oh, and we don't talk about the one with the fish for a face. Along with the new type of cogs is a new kind of cog, executives. They are labeled by a .exe at the end of their levels, and they wear black suits. Each cog type has one, and these executive cogs have more health and can hit harder, which means RNG will be a bigger nightmare at times, and because of this, there is more of a balance in the game's overall combat system. This addition is one I can absolutely get behind. It's difficulty that's needed in the game, and I actually really like it. I can't wait to progress more into the game and see how these executive cogs play a factor in progression. I said in the beginning of the video that there are also new locations, Ye Olde Toontown and Acorn Acres. Now I'll briefly talk about Ye Olde Toontown later on, but I do want to say right now that it's a neat idea of a playground, but it just doesn't work out. It probably doesn't help that the whole area is in black and white. Personally, I would have preferred a black and white playground that resembles Timeless River from Kingdom Hearts 2. The whole medieval theme seems off in my opinion. I will admit though, it is very nice to see that Acorn Acres is a more legitimate playground with streets of its own and a actual storyline that goes through it. I'm very excited to reach that point of the game and see what Acorn Acres is about because I haven't heard too much about it. Okay, so I feel like I've said way too many negative things with only a few positives sprinkled in. So I'm going to now state a few things that I really do enjoy out of this server so far. The main leveling system isn't the only way to level up your toon. Mini games also have their own leveling system, so you have a racing level, trolley level, golfing level, and fishing level, which makes getting laugh boosts more straightforward and easy to understand. You literally get laugh point boosts from playing trolley games, which is something I can definitely get behind. The playground redesigns are neat, and I assume they did this to make the map and the Toontown world coherent with one another, which was an issue with traditional Toontown. It never made sense to me how Donald's Dock and Daisy Gardens were connected in the world, but far apart on the map. I like how the higher the level of gag, the more expensive it is to buy it, which means you have to watch your currency a lot more. The new attacks that cogs have are cool, and a little unpredictable right now, but I wish the animations were a lot smoother. Horses finally don't look too horrendous, but I'm probably in the tight minority on that opinion. Bats are the new cats, which is a nice change of pace for now, and I like how streamers and other media members, like yours truly, have a neat little badge above their head for those sweet popularity purposes. And while it does seem overkill, I do enjoy how you can have up to 300 friends on your list, though I do recall hearing that there could be some problems with that later on. Okay, now for the negatives. Just straight up negatives. Here we go. The majority of the toon faces look absolutely disgusting. I get that they're trying to switch this up entirely, but these need work. The new streets are really bad as well, especially in Ye Olde Toontown, where there's lines of straight up walls and barely any buildings. Ye Olde Toontown is also apparently a terrible location. according to other players, so I get that to look forward to. Acorn Acres as a playground isn't a problem, but if you want to go race and golf at a low level, you have to go through Toontown Central to Donald's Dock, and then from there to Acorn Acres. Then you have to find the tunnel that leads to the minigame area. It's a little bit more walking if you want to do something like racing compared to traditional Toontown. I wish the minigame area was in Toontown Central, making it more of a central hub in the world. Also, the names of the playgrounds are horrible. Barnacle Boatyard, Mezzo Melody Land, and why change the names but keep Mickey Mouse's signature icon on the post office sign? I feel like it was unnecessary to change the names of the locations. Removing the Disney character likeness is all that is necessary, and their likeness isn't even connected to the location names. I could be wrong, but I think leaving Donald's Dock the way it is shouldn't be a problem. Donald is a real name. We just don't talk about the Donald we think of first in the real world. Okay, to conclude, I would like to restate that I do find Corporate Clash fun. I know there are a lot of negatives there, but I really do find this fun. It's a breath of fresh air when it comes to Toontown servers, and it's been fun running around and seeing what's new. I hope I was able to give enough reasoning with all my opinions, and I hope I'm able to keep my media role in their Discord and in-game. I gotta keep it, right? But yeah, these are my first impressions with the game. There's a lot that I feel is fantastic, and a lot that I just straight up dislike, but every game I've played has good and bad things, and that's okay. I do hope that some of the things I brought up are soon addressed, like the sloppy animations and how lazy the new streets are, but the game is fine as is. I'll probably get bored soon and jump to something else because of how linear Toontown has always been, and how much more linear the server is, but I don't dislike it at all. The staff did a great job turning the virus of a server that Altus was into a really promising server that can rival Rewritten, and I hope they make many improvements in their beta. Before I end this video, I'd like to give a quick shout out to my good friend OneFime for helping me out a bit with the script for this video. He mostly helped out with the fact checking and revision, but I'm still grateful. It's difficult for me to do videos like these since it takes time to gather ideas, write a script, gather proper gameplay footage, and edit the video. Having a helping hand in some way is always great. So thank you, OneFime. I'd also like to say that I really want to do more of these types of videos where I discuss something like how I did here. I won't be able to do these too frequently as I am going to be busy with going to university this month, but I do want to finish my script for a video on Fusion Fall that I started working on back in June. I've been so preoccupied that I haven't finished that project, but I'd really like to. I've thought about making a Patreon to help me financially when it comes to dedicating time to these projects, but I don't think it'd be best with my current channel size. But if you guys do want to help me out, a like and a subscribe are always great ways to boost my channel up, and it helps my terrible ego. If you guys want to comment on what I thought about Corporate Clash, I do look and respond to comments, so please converse in the comments section. I also have a Discord, and there's a link to that somewhere in the description. I'd love to hear your thoughts on my opinions and the game as a whole. Alright, that's all I got for this one. Thank you all for watching and listening to my first impressions of Corporate Clash. If you'd like to see my Toontown Rewritten playthrough from 2014, click the annotation on the left. If you'd like to see my The Legends of Pirates Online playthrough, which I recently finished, click the annotation on the right. I hope to see you guys next time in another video.